Welcome back to the Cat News Network. CNN is gonna love that. You know, I love to overanalyze absolutely everything. Even my vet says I'm only one vaccine away from full-blown autism, so let's dig in deep today. This video is going to be a follow-up to the one I posted yesterday, so it's a good reference point to start if you haven't seen it. But first, let's talk about another murder to tack onto Hillary Clinton's kill list. This list is longer than Forrest Gump. Stick. That was a Tom Hanks dick joke. That's the level that I'm at today. Republican donor and operative named Peter Smith was trying to obtain Hillary Clinton's missing emails, and he died just days after talking to the Wall Street Journal about his efforts. And now everyone thought that this was of natural causes, as he was 81. But today his death record was released, and apparently Peter killed himself inside a Minnesota hotel room. Now if that wasn't suspicious enough, he was found with a bag over his head and a source of helium attached. He died from asphyxiation by helium, and in the suicide note recovered by the police, Smith apologized to the authorities and said that no foul play whatsoever was involved in his death. Yeah, dear police, sorry for this silly mess. There's absolutely nothing to see here. Please ignore. Just wanted to kill myself by becoming a balloon animal. Please don't investigate any further. Obviously, I don't know this man. Maybe he was just an old guy trying to get money for his family before his life insurance expired. I don't know that, but what I do know is that there's a disgusting amount of suicides related to people who go after the Clintons. Okay, that's enough. And it would seem weird to take your life right in the middle of a huge government case that you're trying to break. Even to leave a suicide note that says that there's no foul play is kind of suspicious. Like, that's definitely something a murderer would write. The coroners, of course, are not releasing the autopsy reports. But on to the big news story going on today. Yeah, it's still Russia. But now the Democrats want to turn ordinary diplomatic meetings into treasonous acts in order to perpetuate their political witch hunt. Fucking collusions. The Russians are a hostile country, and if you don't believe that, then you're fucking delusional. Why the fuck else would Jared Kushner meet with the Russian ambassador? Like, I don't know, maybe because he's the senior advisor to the fucking president? He probably meets with all the ambassadors. Anyway, I had some info that I left out last night on my last video because I wanted to make sure this was confirmed before going ahead. Anyway, here's the rundown. It's a super complex web that is turning into an Agatha Christie novel, so I'm going to make it as simple as possible, and I have a ton of links and sources in the description if you want more information. First, Donald Trump was one of the Pied Piper candidates. This was on the DNC strategy memo that was leaked on April 7, 2015, which was released on WikiLeaks, that shows Hillary's plan to try to smear and discredit the possible Republican threats. On the list was Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, and Mr. Donald Trump. So if Donald does well, which he obviously did, dirt would be required on the Donald to discredit him. Doesn't matter if it's real or fabricated. So to produce this said dirt, they hired Fusion GPS, a research and strategic intelligence firm. They were possibly hired by McCain, the DNC, Hillary Clinton, all three. I don't know. Fusion GPS needed both a story and sufficient evidence to give the story plausibility. That's when the Trump-Russian dossier came out. And of course, the intelligence community has stressed that the accusations in the dossier have not been verified. The falsified evidence in the dossier took two forms. There was the electronic and human. First, with the electronic, that was the tea leaves. The cybersecurity researcher April Lorenzen created forged DNS logs from the Trump server, repeatedly contacting Alpha Bank in Russia, that helps prompt the FISA warrant. Second was human. Well, at the same time, the Trump server was supposedly contacting the Alpha Bank, which is the Putin-tied Russian bank that apparently Trump was supposedly in contact. Here's even a fucking smug tweet from Hillary Clinton herself posting this. This is when Goldstone sets up a meeting with Natalia via email, making sure to use specific keywords and tricky phrases that implicate Russian government involvement. The timing being concurrent with the forged DNS server logs is not a coincidence. Fusion GPS uses pre-existing relationship with Natalia as they worked together on a case for over 2 years, and she was a diversion. So in combination with this and the electronic data, the FISA warrant was issued. After the FISA warrant was issued, the dossier was given to the FBI. Plausibility had been established. It doesn't even matter at this point if the dossier was amateurish, as it provided a distraction for the FBI to vet it. Then on July 22, 2016, 19,252 emails belonging to Hillary Clinton were sent to WikiLeaks. Seth Rich did this, mounting evidence shows that. And the DNC knows this too, of course, but they went with the big bad Russian narrative because it's just an easy move to pin it on Trump. And with all the other fake Russia shit they have on him, it's just a smart move. But Hillary Clinton thinks that she's a shoo-in to win, so nothing much is done prior to the election other than establish a Trump loves Putin story. Then the unthinkable happens. Trump wins. The Democrats shit themselves. But I guess it's time to arm the landmines that were previously set. Time to get that email to the New York Times. Now, if this was a really big story, they would have released it months and months ago. But as I have explained, this is a big old nothing. But they're so desperate, and if anything, it just lets assholes like me poke holes in it and dig up real dirt. Because while the whole thing was going down, Hillary Clinton was actually colluding with the Ukraine. And I'm not just talking about her trying to get dirt on Donald Trump, for which there is proof that she did. I'm talking about the Victor Pinchuk Foundation. Victor is a very wealthy Ukrainian banker who has donated between $10 and $25 million according to the Clinton Foundation website. Now, the largest donations from the Pinchuk Foundation to the Clinton Foundation were in 2015 and 2016, during the election. And there are emails that show international monetary funds were laundered through the Ukraine Central Bank to other banks, eventually ending up with the Pinchuk Foundation arriving to the Clintons. Now, my Russian isn't great, but here's a diagram of all the banks that were funneling this money. This goes super deep, but I don't want to go any further because I don't want to get killed. So let's just go back to the lawyer Natalia, because this is where the story really crumbles. That lawyer had an expired visa when she met Donald Jr. She had been turned down for a visa to enter the U.S. lawfully, but then was granted special immigration parole by the then Attorney General Loretta Lynch. This revelation means that it was the Obama Justice Department that enabled the newest and most intriguing figure in the Russia-Trump investigation to enter the country without a visa. And in October, the government bypassed the normal visa process and gave her a type of extraordinary permission to enter the country called immigration parole. And this is incredibly rare. So how would a simple defense lawyer have friends like Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General on Hillary Clinton's email investigation? Well, I think you know the answer. And that is what I really call Russian collusion. So I'm sorry, Dems, but impeachment isn't going to happen. You can't always get what you want. Going back to Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you just end up with nuts in your mouth. I still want to be truly optimistic and believe that Robert Mueller is still on our side and will shut this all down soon. Now, can we get the fuck off this Russia thing and go back to important things like Beyonce banning Bossy? Because I fucking hate bossy people. Meow.